In this experiment, we are going to determine if there is a photosensitivity to seed germination for two different kinds of seeds. One is going to be Genovese basil, and the other one is going to be Cosmos, a bright lights blend. So to do that, we're going to set up these seed flats that have these cells in them already. And we're just going to put one seed per cell in each thing. We're just going to surface sow these. But we're going to do one entire flat that is going to be exposed to the light, and one that we are going to stick in a baggie and put in the dark. Since the dark treatment is the one that has the most specialized equipment for it, I'm going to show you guys how to do that one, and you can just assume that you would do the light treatment the same way, except you would not be putting it into a Mylar bag. Okay, so here we go. We've got all of our cells set up. Let's just go ahead and start with the basil seeds. We're going to do 3 rows of each. Basil seeds, just like our celery seeds and lettuce seeds and a lot of things, they're very, very small here, right? So they're very, very tiny. We'll kind of put them out here on a plate, and we're just going to take one seed and put it in each cell here. Sometimes it helps to just use your finger pads. It can be kind of challenging to do these little tiny things. They're just so small, right? So another one that you could broadcast in sand. So what that means is you mix your seeds with a bit of sand, and then when you sprinkle them out in your bed that you're going to sow them in, or your seeding flat, the sand actually helps you get a more even distribution because it moves the seed particles away from each other. There we go. I have to keep putting my finger there so I remember where I'm at. I just put one there. I think I just put one there. You know what? I'm not sure if I put one there. I'm going to put another one there. You guys saw it. I'm sure you'll be able to tell me if I put one extra one there or not. Okay, here we go. Basil is a great plant to grow over the summer, but it's one of those plants that I don't know who can actually only just grow one. I need about 6 plants for the amount of basil that I consume. We eat a lot of pesto when it's that time of year, and then we also use it in Bloody Mary mix, and we use it in spaghetti sauce, stuff like that. It's just a really good spice, and it's good for you too. Really easy to grow plant. You can actually start basil from cuttings too, like if you buy fresh basil at the store, the same way that we were doing some of the other cuttings. Like the mint especially, it's in that family, so you can just start them the same way. Okay, there we go. That is 3 whole rows of basil. And now I'm going to try to get these back into the seed packet, which is always fun, without spilling them in the flat. There we go. All right. Yay! No giant mishap there. I was really worried about that. Okay, so now that we've gotten our basil stone, let's go ahead and do our cosmos. Cosmos are a really great plant. They grow kind of tall. They attract butterflies and bees, and they make a really great cut flower. So it's a nice addition to have in your garden. And look at how much bigger these seeds are than those other seeds. Like you can visibly see that with the naked eye on my camera screen, so obviously they're much bigger. And we're just going to stab these into the soil a little bit here. Doesn't matter which way is up, the plant will figure it out. I guess, no, you know what? Let's take them and we'll just sow them on the surface because we don't need that to be a confounding factor. If we're doing a light versus dark experiment, it doesn't make any sense to make them deeper in the dark than the others, even if they are considerably larger. These will end up being different colors. So the bright lights mix tends to be oranges and yellows. There's a lot of other mixes of cosmos that you can get. There's some called seashells that have rolled petals. There's bipinnatus, which ends up being pinks and whites. They don't really get to purpley, but they do make a very, very just nice, attractive border plant too. So if you need something that's going to be kind of like a tall border, they'll work really well. And then we also grow them in our children's garden here. Our children's garden tends to have themes, and this year's theme is plants from outer space, and so we put things in there like cosmos and other plants we put dark star tomatoes in there. All right, so there we go. We've got one seed in each cell now. And then to make this a dark treatment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the long skinny flats and just go ahead and put it on the top of this. And then I'm going to slide this whole thing into a Mylar bag. And I mean, Mylar bags are pretty easy to come by because it's a, you know, if you bought a bag of potting soil, you have a Mylar bag. So here's my Mylar bag. I'm going to slide this whole thing into it after I water it, and then we're going to leave this in the dark. And I'll monitor the ones that are in the light and kind of use them as a gauge to determine when we should be checking the ones that are in the dark. We really don't want to open this bag at all because we want it to stay in the dark. Every little bit of light that you give it will trigger a difference in your experiment. So I'm going to water them in first, and then I'll slide them in the bag and I'll put them in the dark. I'm going to do an entire other replicate that we're going to put in the light, and then we'll just see what happens.